So you're thinking about moving to Knoxville, but you're not sure where is the best area of Knoxville. Today, we are going to answer that question and we're going to talk about an area called South Knoxville. And this is for people that love up and coming, that love to see transformation, and that maybe they want waterfront, but maybe they don't want to pay Cherokee Boulevard prices. Okay. So let's jump in the map and let's take a look. All right, so here we are in Knoxville on the map right here. And I just want to point out, first of all, if we zoom in, like obviously here's Knoxville and you can see South Knoxville proper. However, South Knoxville actually goes all the way out to Seymour. So it is huge, my friend. South Knoxville is crazy. So it is one zip code. It's 37920. And I want to talk with you about kind of the areas, some different neighborhoods you should know about, and some places, if you were to come visit, you might consider checking out. So first of all, let's talk about Sevier Avenue. So Sevier Avenue is, when I say up and coming, that's specifically what I'm talking about. Sevier Avenue is now a kind of hot spot in terms of restaurants. There's a really great, Asian restaurant called the Landing House, South Coast Pizza, Southside Garage. All these are really awesome restaurants, places to hang out. But then you also have Honeybee, which is so good, coffee. But you have new apartment buildings. You have homes that have been renovated. There's actually a little elementary school, South Knox Elementary on Sevier Avenue. But this is kind of like the South Knox hotspot, Sevier Avenue. This would probably not be where you want to necessarily live as a permanent residence, because it is kind of definitely like the place to go. I will say what's cool about this is Suttrie's Landing. This is a new waterfront park, super cool place to hang out. They've got like a playground. It's just a nice area. And then you have some pockets of like houses here, but a lot of these have turned into short-term rental. And then a lot of the houses like on Valley, even a couple streets back, just small houses, older houses, not stuff that necessarily, that would be if you're looking for small, quaint, older, and then something that long-term you're gonna like reap the benefit out of that investment. So that's Sevier Avenue. And I just want to also point out that you are directly across from the river. So you have two kind of ends into South Knox from downtown. So this would be the Henley Street Bridge, and this turns into Chapman Highway. So Chapman Highway is the main road. That's this 441 South that goes through South Knoxville, and then it actually will take you all the way out to like Sevierville, Pigeon Forge. So 441 runs. That's all. This is all Chapman Highway. Chapman Highway is an intense road. I think that's probably the best way to describe it. And then you also have James White that comes this way. And so this would be kind of, I call it like the back road into South Knoxville. But eventually it kind of ends and you hit Moody, and Moody comes back to Chapman. So this is kind of the way I go. Actually, when I go from home, because I live in Seymour, I take Chapman, I turn on, I don't turn on Moody. My husband turns on Moody, but I turn on like Busby. I go this way. I kind of go around and around, hit Woodlawn, hit East Moody, and then I hit James White here and go around, because I do not like the entrance to 40 from here. But and then when I come home, I actually come through Henley Street. So I use both of them. But in the morning, I do not use this, because also this bridge is horrible traffic. It's probably the bridge I hate the most in terms of traffic, because people are speeding like crazy people. Anyways, and then there's this Gay Street over here. So anyhow, so Old Sevier, great location. If you are wanting water frontage and you're wanting to be like close to downtown, my favorite neighborhood is Lakemore Hills. So that is all of this area right here, all Lakemore Hills, and part of some of this could be considered Lakemore Hills. So think super nice houses, waterfront houses, gorgeous houses. Some are like, super contemporary modern, and some are, you know, a traditional 2-story. Really great neighborhood, lots of green, big yards. This is not new construction. There is one little neighborhood that is gated here. That is kind of new construction, but overall what you're going to find here is older homes that have been restored, remodeled. Awesome neighborhood. And this to me is like the alternative to Cherokee Boulevard, which is on the other side of the water here. So it's, I don't want to say cheaper because that gives it a bad connotation, but essentially Lakemore Hills is all this over here, and it's just gorgeous homes on the water. I love it. I love that area. And then I also want to point out, like, you can see UT Medical Centers here. So this is Alcoa Highway. So this is another road, major road, kind of running around along the fringe of South Knoxville. So Alcoa Highway, as long as I've been here, which is basically my entire life, although I did go away for a couple years, but I came back in 2012. This was under construction. So I think it might always be under construction. I can't say. Who can say? I don't know. But anyways, so this is Alcoa, and this takes you all the way to Marable, Alcoa, obviously Alcoa Highway. What is awesome also is that this is super close into University of Tennessee, but you see this road right here, Cherokee Trail. So off of this road, you have quite a bit of student housing. So that's probably not necessarily someplace where you'd want to buy a house just because it's like student housing. That's not related to the university, but it is, you know, a lot of students that are renting. But there are some new development, newer construction neighborhoods over here. And this is an interesting area of South Knoxville because you have very expensive houses and then you have not very expensive houses. So Vestal, this neighborhood, this area gets a bad name. It's probably got the most negative connotation of it, of any kind of neighborhood in South Knoxville. But you know, it's interesting because one street you just have a variety of houses in that area. And then Woodlawn is kind of coming out from downtown, and Woodlawn is actually a cemetery, but that is another area in the South Knoxville kind of space that people really like. You have, again, some super cool older homes, really nice space. And I also want to point out that near Woodlawn, going towards James White Parkway, this area, Sarah Simpson, if you're a teacher or you're going to be a teacher in South Knoxville, I mean, a teacher in Knox County, you're going to go to professional development at Sarah Simpson. I've spent many an hour of professional development, not only going there, but teaching at them. So that's Sarah Simpson, but that's a side note. So anyhow, Baker Creek. So this is a park. This is like mountain biking, trail running. There's also like jumps and ramps and all kinds of stuff for biking, skateboarding. Super cool area, super cool park. And then IAM's Nature Center, not iJams. We say IAM's Nature Center. There's also a quarry there. This is another park that people really love. There is some water frontage on it, but those are just some parks in the area that people really like. And then Island Home Island Home reminds me of, I don't know if you ever watched Father of the Bride, but it reminds me of their house. Like super, I don't know. It's really nice. Island Home Boulevard is like gorgeous, super beautiful old homes. And so that's Island Home Park. If you can find a house in there, go for it because they rarely become available. So that's kind of like the downtown-esque side of South Knox. And the further we come out, the more we get to Colonial Village. Colonial Village is a great location. Again, older homes, not new construction. There's not a ton of new construction in South Knoxville, and I'll show you where you can find some new construction in South Knoxville. But for the most part, you're going to have older homes that have been like reimagined, renovated, lots of character, that kind of thing. So Colonial Village and Lake Forest. Lake Forest is another one that is super like cute, quaint old homes. I forgot to mention Lindbergh Forest. So Lindbergh Forest is just off Chapman, and this is, again, like think stone. There's some like Spanish villas, some just like super cool houses, and that's right off of this light. Well, actually not Duncan, it's one light up. So it is where is it? Oh yeah, here. Right there. So Lindbergh Forest. This is like super cool historical homes. Very neat. Stone, really cool. So something to check out. Again, not a ton of inventory comes up there, but if you were to get in there, it's pretty nice. Okay, so as far as like groceries, your main priority or main place to buy groceries here would be this Kroger. So not a ton of like restaurant options. Your restaurant options are going to be Sevier Avenue or to go downtown. And hopefully that'll change over time, but really right now your main grocery store would be Kroger. There is also like there's a student area over here, and so there's like a Publix over there, but I would never deal with that traffic. Okay, so then if we keep moving forward, like I said, you've got Colonial Village, and South Knox is just wide and huge. Okay, so it's kind of hard to explain or show all of that just because I feel like it keeps going and going and going. But I do want to also show you that. So we have Chapman Highway. That's this one. We have Alcoa. So that's coming out from like University of Tennessee. And then this right here is John Sevier. So John Sevier will take you like all the way to Strawberry Plains, to Morristown, etc. Back all the way to like 11E. So John Sevier, it's kind of like, I think of it like a triangle. So you have Alcoa Highway, you have Chapman Highway, and then you have John Sevier. So for example, if I want to go to West Knoxville and I'm coming from Seymour, which is where I live, I'm going to take Chapman. And most often I'm going to take John Sevier over. And then I'm going to cross, like, usually I take this road right here, Maloney to Pellissippi. But you could go all the way to Alcoa, Pellissippi. Now, if that's like, if I'm trying to avoid crazy afternoon traffic, I will cut that way. If not, then I'll just go Chapman all the way to 40. But I usually use John Sevier as like a shortcut to get to like the west side of town. There's like a Target at North Shore, stuff like that. So if I'm trying to go that way towards kind of the Farragut area, North Shore, Westland, then I'm going to take John Sevier. So that is what this is. So this is off John Sevier is South Doyle High School, Bonnie Cade Elementary. So South Doyle is the high school for South Knoxville, and then you have South Doyle Middle. But then outside of that, you've got Dogwood Elementary, Bonnie Cade Elementary, New Hopewell. So those are all the different, not all the different, but obviously much more elementary schools than middle and high school. So South Doyle, like I said, is the flagship high school for South Knoxville, and so that serves all of this. And then Seymour is technically part of Seymour is within Knox County. Part of it's in Blount, part of it's in Sevier. So you can kind of see right here, like this is still partly Knoxville. And then you have just some kind of major roads like Kimberlin Heights is kind of another area going out towards the river. And you can see some really cool houses, lots of cool like big lots, like acres. So that's nice. Now let's talk about new construction. So really when it comes to new construction, not a ton of options. In the like South Knox proper, like close to downtown, you might see some like in Vestal, for example, and even maybe some off Old Sevier, maybe some off Sevier Avenue. There's some older homes that need to be torn down. So you do see tons of like renovation, but in terms of new construction, in Vestal, you might see some lots with a new construction house, but for the most part, in terms of new construction neighborhoods, not really a thing. We do have D.R. Horton, they're developing, and by the way, the Starbucks came in about, I don't know, 3 years ago, and I feel like it changed my life for the better. I was like, I can live here now because apparently I'm high maintenance, which actually now there's some super cute coffee. There's a really cute coffee shop off of this one, Commonplace, super cute coffee shop in Colonial Village. Love it. Anyhow, not the point of this, but you can see this is obviously a hub, right, for Starbucks. There's a Lowe's, there's a Chick-fil-A. But what I was saying is, as far as new construction goes, so there is a D.R. Horton new construction off Highland View. So that's pretty far out, right? It's back off Highland View. New construction there. There is a pocket of waterfront property, a neighborhood that my friend lives in off of John Sevier, but it's all the way down, like over here. It's pretty far. And then if we go to the other side of like about Alcoa Highway off Maloney, like this area, or no, it's actually further up. It's off John Sevier. like by this Weigel's, there's a little new construction neighborhood over here. So, I mean, in terms of new construction, I mean like built in the past 2 years, those are probably your biggest options. You can also see this over here. These are waterfront properties and neighborhoods. So these are more established, probably built in the 90s neighborhoods, maybe early 2000s. You do have some of that over here, waterfront neighborhoods. So that could be an option if you're wanting newer waterfront. But overall, most of the houses that you're going to find in South Knoxville are pretty well established. So that is a quick-ish kind of South Knoxville overview. And obviously, depending on what you're looking for, you're going to go to different areas of South Knoxville. If you're wanting more like you can walk to stuff, you'd be down on Sevier. If you're wanting waterfront, you think Lakemore Hills or even over here by like the Maloney area. And then if you're wanting just like land, etc., I mean, kind of take your pick. So that's South Knox. And obviously, if you're moving here, if you have questions, I would love to talk with you. Feel free to give me a text, give me a call, send me a message. And until next time, I'll see you.